Weirdly sample fighters. Hello.
Hello Expression FM listeners. Today we bring to you an exclusive interview with local Exeter band The Issues. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves? What are your names and what do you play?
I'm Joe and I'm singer and rhythm guitarist.
I'm Tom and I'm lead guitarist.
I'm Ollie and I play bass.
And I'm Mike and I'm the drummer.
Sweet. So for the listeners, when did you guys form and what made you want to start a band?
So we originally formed about a year and 8 months ago, literally like a month before lockdown, with a slightly different lineup. Just because I think the four of us at the time were just desperate to be playing music, really.
Yeah.
And it was just something fun to do. And then we kind of sadly lost. They didn't die or anything, but like we lost two members a few months ago.
Oh, no.
And Tom and Ollie were just the obvious replacements, and they've been fucking brilliant. So we've been going, the four of us, for about 2 months, 3 months. Actually, no, longer than that.
July.
Since the end of July. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I read that you guys recorded and produced and released some songs in lockdown. Was that a big challenge? Not being able to tour and
Yeah, it was pretty challenging, but I think we did an alright job.
Yeah.
Like the two songs we recorded, we probably only actually played live like 3 times anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So they were still very much kind of in their kind of youthful stage, so we could kind of do whatever we wanted with it, and no one would be like, "Oh, doesn't sound like what it sounded like when they played live," because no one had heard us play live.
Would you say like the live show is, because you've played a few gigs now, and we've been to one of them, and that was great fun. But do you think the songs are continually evolving with the live show? Do they change or develop?
Oh yeah, we definitely do we do like clock bits of songs that aren't quite working, and we do build upon that. I mean, all my guitar solos are always just completely improvised. I have no idea what I'm doing, but it sounds alright, so I just keep going with it.
So I heard you guys have been getting some gigs recently. You mentioned one in Manchester coming up, but can you tell us more about that and the festival dates you guys are looking out for?
Yeah, so we've just been kind of trying to broaden our horizons a little bit, because Exeter's great, but it's only really the Cavern we can play in, which is awesome. Like, we love playing down here, but we want to build and we want to constantly be getting bigger and getting more fans and stuff. So we've started playing gigs outside of Exeter like 3 weeks ago. Had one in Bristol, which went really well.
That's brilliant.
Then Plymouth, and then Falmouth last week, which was mad. That was like probably the best gig we've played. Like,
that sounds amazing.
It was insane. Just like this grotty little room in like a flat roof pub. Yeah.
That sounds wicked. Is there are there any bands in particular you guys would love to tour with in the future?
Oh, lots and lots. The Chats. Yeah, the Chats would be the dream.
Would you say they're a big influence of yours?
Yeah, definitely. Not, and when we start, first, me and Mike are kind of the two original members. Yeah. And when we started, it definitely wasn't really that vibe. That's not what we were thinking. It was much more kind of jangly indie stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But just even living in Exeter and spending time in Cavern, there's such a punk history and vibe. It kind of just seeped into the music.
Yeah, because I remember when I saw you guys, you did a Fontaines DC cover.
Oh yeah,
which is fantastic, great fun. But do you think those guys are a big influence on you guys now?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think bands like Fontaines DC, they've had quite a big influence on us, just in terms of not necessarily the musicality of it, but the actual energy behind it. Yeah. Like the punk energy. I feel like we'd like to think our actual sounds more like Fratellis-ish.
Right, yeah.
Or Libertines. With little bits of punk thrown in there. Yeah.
Yeah, because I do hear a lot of that kind of that 2000 sound, like the Libertines as well. Yeah. I hear a lot in your music, and obviously. Yeah. yeah, there seems to be a huge rise in guitar music in the independent scene in the last few years, especially with younger people and younger audiences, with bands like Sports Team and Shame, as well as like new stuff like Wet Leg and Courting and English Teacher. What do you think speaks to young people? What about this music do you think speaks to young people?
Everyone's really fucking angry.
Yeah.
Say that again to the microphone.
Everyone's really fucking angry, basically, and needs to just scream along to absolute bangers.
Yeah, I think also the fact that it's like when you get a lot of like pop music that's kind of when you get a lot of pop music that's like kind of overproduced,
right?
Kind of, you can tell it's kind of from big corporations. When you can tell it's more kind of raw and kind of with people's like real instruments, and you can kind of relate to it a lot better.
Yeah, something a bit more honest.
Yeah.
So I know honesty is talked about a lot in music, especially with Fontaine's DC. And I just wanted to ask about how much truth there is in your songwriting, because I know you write a lot about figures in real life that you've had experiences with.
Yeah.
And is all of that true, or was some of it slightly fabricated?
I've got an interesting. How much like non-child friendly stuff we're allowed to talk about on this radio show?
I mean, tread lightly.
Am I
Swearing is. Well, that can be censored.
Okay,
but
cool. Basically, all of the songs I write, they're about people, but they're not actually about people.
Right, yeah.
They're about things I like putting in me. Sounds really, really bad. That sounds worse than what I'm saying.
Sounds a lot.
But no, it's just like almost like I don't like writing serious songs.
Yeah.
I'm not a particularly serious. Well, I'm a serious person at times, but I don't think people will really want to hear that when we come to an issue show. Like, I write stupid songs with kind of funny, silly lyrics that with little memorable lines and stuff, and like with the characters as well. It's just like it's nice to have like a kind of idea of a person to kind of base the vibe of a song off.
Like sort of like archetypes or
completely.
Yeah. So like this is just an aside, but was your sister actually a punk?
She wasn't, no. Which is really, I know, people are always disappointed when I say that. That song came about because my girlfriend was cycling somewhere and just heard this old like crusty Devonoid just been, did you know my sister used to be a punk? And she just thought it was a class like line. So she told me, and she was like, that'll be a good song name. I was like, it would be a good song name. So I wrote that song.
That's a fantastic
story. But my sister was a lot cooler than I ever gave her credit for, definitely. And that kind of had a big kind of influence on the kind of writing of the song and stuff. And she did have a very boring boyfriend at one point.
So yeah, there is always some truth in it, isn't there? Yeah,
always.
But and another one, was Charlie really a dickhead?
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
Charlies are always dickheads, aren't they?
Tell us more about the Charlie that you're basing that off. if you care to divulge. I mean.
I think some listeners might know what kind of Charlie I'm talking about. But I think everyone just kind of knows that person who's like, you don't like them, they're really annoying, and like, but they are just a laugh.
Yeah. And
you have a really good time with them for like a few minutes. Even though you hate the fact that you have a really good time with them for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone knows a Charlie, basically.
Yeah. How do you think being a band in Exeter, which is such a like student dominated town, especially with the nightlife scene, has influenced the way you like produce and market your music, especially because there's such a dominant club culture here? It must be quite, well, I imagine it might be quite difficult to generate a crowd amongst the, competing with, Timepiece down the road or Unit 1 or...
Yeah, for sure. We're kind of in quite a lucky situation where we're all kind of, I mean, I'm not a student, but the other three are, and we're all kind of involved in like the music societies and stuff. Every time I've put on gigs, I just immediately like message the indie sock people, message the rock and metal society people, message the campus bands people, and just be like, please get people down, and it works every time.
Yeah, I mean, we've had packed shows here before. Like, was it the 30th one? That was absolutely insane. It was like
famous
nearly full from the back to the front. It was insane. Like, we both crowd surfed that night.
Was that the one I think we may have been at that show. Yeah, that was good fun.
Also,
Yeah.
But my own gig, I've crowd surfed at indie night and stuff before. Yeah. Doesn't really count, does it?
Nah. Yeah, that was really good fun.
Cheers.
But how much do you guys think the live show influences your sound? Because it seems like your songs are made to play live. Is that something you've actively tried to go for, or is it something that's just happened?
Yeah, I think we sort of base what we want ourselves to sound like on like what we would expect our best gig to sound like effectively. Like, yeah, I guess we are quite a live band. And yeah, if our recordings can like capture that really like chaotic energy of just like people seshing in a gig and having a great time, then that's kind of a win for us, really.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think like one other thing is they're not the songs are kind of written kind of as a band, like playing it, not written like recording it. So it's we're kind of how they're kind of put together was just with all of us to begin with. So it's how it would sound when you hear it, not like with added bits of kind of like recording with like keys and things like that. Or so it's kind of
Would you ever be willing to go for something a bit more studio heavy, or is the live show quite integral at the moment?
I think for now, like, because we just have so much fun at the live shows, that's where I think we really shine as well. Like, I'd say like our live performances are better than our songs. Not in that way, but like if I want someone to kind of get into our band, I'd say to come to our show rather than to listen to what we've got on Spotify, because there's just like a certain energy.
Yeah, I always think that's more important.
Yeah,
so, like the live. If you you
basically just turn the songs up to 11. And jam out.
Yeah, the energy is what you want, isn't it?
Always.
Yeah. Just another question about festivals and venues. Are there any in particular that would be like a dream festival or a dream venue for you guys to play?
So I'm literally writing our festival application tonight. Well, I've written it, but I'm sending it off tonight. I think the main ones we're going for, Boomtown, for sure. Just because they put on obviously it's mainly like DJ heavy, but they've just got so many stages. They put on so many like little bands kind of in the daytime at the bars and stuff. And it would just be cool to get to Boomtown for free, really. That's all we really want. We just want to go festivals for free. If we can play, it's a bonus.
It's not the only reason you go and start a band. You go to gigs for free. Yeah,
stuff like kind of slightly smaller ones that are kind of on the rise, stuff like Tramlines and Dot to Dot Festival. I think those are going to be a good bet for us this year.
Looked wicked this year.
Yeah, they had people like Courting and Sports Team, those kind of vibes,
And like venue-wise, like the Windmill. London,
of course. I love the
That would be. I mean, I love all that, like all the bands in that scene, like Black Country, Shame, etc., etc. So like playing on that stage would just be the one.
No, the Windmill's great. Can you give us any hints about new music on the way, or
we may have a little something in the works?
Oh, is it? This is very exciting. Can you tell us anything more about that, or is it all very hush hush at the moment?
Nah, we can tell you about it. Basically, we're making an EP. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
With kind of probably between 5 and 7 songs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're going up to Manchester to record it.
Sounds amazing.
My mates who kind of mixed and mastered the first 2 singles we put out, they're going to do it for us, and we're going to go and spend kind of a weekend having a blast in Manchester and recording some tunes.
Sounds great.
Because we've written so many new songs since like the 4 we've got out came out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean lockdown. That's one of the benefits of it. You can see a lot of good music coming out in the next few years. People just getting their heads down and writing. Is that something you? Well, I mean, you just described. Yeah, it must have been quite an intense process.
Yeah, I wrote a lot of songs in lockdown. A lot of them crap, but some of them good, and they're the ones we play. So yeah,
that's cool.
I just had time to just sit with my brain.
Is there anything you've always, like, a subject matter or something you've always wanted to write about, or something that's like a dream song, I guess, in a way?
A song that's not about girls or drugs. That would be nice. Broaden my horizons a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know, writing like a proper kind of like anthem almost would be pretty cool. Like a massive, big, like long song.
Yeah.
With just like loads of little bits and stuff. Like a few of our songs have kind of fun little breaks, and they kind of change tempos, and they change kind of style a little bit throughout them. But just to really like push that idea and just do something completely whack. And
The Issues Rhapsody.
Yeah, The Issues Rhapsody.
That'd be fantastic. Would you guys ever branch out into like any other like non-rock genres even? Say like I don't know, even like jazz or something like that. Like the windmill bands do a lot of that. That'd be something you guys would be into.
Well, me and Mike actually kind of have a lot of influences kind of in how we play with jazz. So kind of potentially, it depends if it could be incorporated in a way that kind of feels like it kind of connects and kind of works with the rest of the music. But yeah, I mean, I'd definitely be up for it. So
sounds great.
Gigs, you guys just occasionally.
Yeah, well, we often have like jams either planned or when there's a technical difficulty and someone's sorting out something, so we just have like a little jam, and they're kind of often like funky or like jazzy or bluesy or something like that, kind of quite different to what we usually play. So yeah.
Mix up the set a little bit.
Yeah.
And like in the way that I set up my kit and stuff as well, I've had a lot of like sound people going like, "Oh, I thought you guys were an indie band," like thinking that I'd set up my kit like a jazz drummer. So I guess like a bit of like Charlie Watts vibes. In the way I play is probably not as straight indie rock as quite a lot of other bands are. So yeah, there's always like little bits of elements of different genres in our stuff, I guess.
It'd be really exciting to see you guys push the boat out. I mean, the music you're making it. But is there any artists in particular you'd really like to work with one day, like a dream collaborator, for example?
Ooh, yes is the answer to that question. Just need to think about who. I mean, we mentioned like Courting earlier. I think they're a really, really exciting band at the moment. Very similar kind of style to us as well.
Similar kind of, almost like idiosyncratic lyrics.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of quirky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even who else? Who else would be cool?
Well, I think just getting some like doing a collab with like some like female punk band, like
definitely.
Wet Leg or even just the Maisonettes would be awesome. Just like
actually get a bit of female vocal.
Yeah, exactly. Just to add another dimension.
Because sadly we are just
four white boys with guitars.
Yeah. And do you think there being such an emphasis on festivals being criticised for their lack of representation and stuff like that, do you think how important do you think it really is in terms of like representation, and like do you think festivals should be boycotted or artists should pull out?
I think they should. Like something needs to change, definitely. Like it's just embarrassing every year. Like every time it's pointed out, and you just go, "Oh my god, yeah."
It's always the headlines as well. There's always just like white boys with guitars, rapper, white boys with guitars. Or it's just like there's never any like there's no diversity in lineups.
And it's like what does that say to kind of like girls who are kind of picking up instruments and wanting to kind of get into it when there's no one really for them to look up. Well, there's lots of people for them to look up to, but they're not ever given quite the same time of day as the kind of
Cortinas.
Basically. Playing
But in terms of like Reading Fest is the biggest culprit here, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But if one day, say maybe you guys got on main stage, would that be something you'd be willing to do, given all of the controversy surrounding the diversity on the lineups?
If they change, we'd love to play Reading and Leeds. If you're listening, Reading and Leeds, if you change, we'll play. But yeah, like we mentioned Maisonettes earlier, they're like a really cool kind of like riot girly sort of band who are kind of rising in the ranks in Exeter at the moment, and we love playing gigs with them because it just adds variety, and they're just such fun performers as well. Would
you guys ever do like a 8 people on stage type of just like mega jam?
Definitely would.
Should we shout out the Maisonettes, maybe get that going?
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be very
maybe
cool.
the next gig at the Cavern.
Leah, if you're listening, give us a shout.
So like personally, what do you think are your influences on your own music, like your kind of, so what does your Spotify look like type of thing?
Yeah, we can take turns with this. So my Spotify looks like a mix of Frank Sinatra, Mac DeMarco, and just like noughties, indie trash, like Fratellis, Libertines, all that crap. Razorlight. I don't really like Razorlight, but they're always there. They're always on my playlists. I listen to lots of different things. I went through a big phase of kind of like slow bedroom pop a few years ago, but I snapped myself out of it because
Interesting.
I was becoming a very depressing human when I was listening to all that. But just anything with excitement in it.
Yeah.
I mean, my Spotify just spans the decades basically. So it sort of starts off with like blues, started with like by B.B. King, Buddy Guy even, sorry. Buddy Rich is a jazz drummer. Who's also very cool. And then up to like the 60s with the Doors and Beatles, and 70s classic rock stuff, along with like classic punk, like the Ramones and Sex Pistols, etc. And I was massive into like 80s goth, so like Bauhaus and all that shit.
Don't worry.
We're not very good at not swearing.
That's fine.
And
It
then
can all be edited.
through to the present day with the current post-punk scene in the UK, which is absolutely insane. I didn't know where it came. It just sort of appeared, fully formed. It was kind of mad.
Yeah.
Kind of most of the stuff I listen to is kind of just quite kind of chill indie stuff. So things like Still Woozy and Dayglow are kind of the ones that I listen to probably most, or kind of that kind of genre. Also, I listen to kind of a lot of jazz. So I also play kind of jazz pianos, things like Miles Davis and Bill Evans and the people like that are kind of major influences and things that I listen to mainly.
I'm going through like a really weirdly deep like Dire Straits phase at the moment, of all things. But then also like a bit of sort of bedroom poppy stuff, and a bit of noughties indie mixed in there as well. A bit of like the Doors. I'm sort of got this like psychedelic sort of side project that I'm trying to get off the ground.
Cool.
And so a bit of psychedelic stuff as well. Well, we're all going to be in it, and a whole weird range that somehow all clashes together to make the sound that we have, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there sounds like there's a bit of overlap between all of you. You know, you've all got some.
Yeah, for sure.
All got a common like interest in guitar music.
And like we definitely all have that like classic noughties indie rock phase in common with everyone. I think.
I think. Yeah, from the outside, that seems like the biggest influence on your music.
Yeah, for sure.
As well as the modern stuff that's coming out today that kind of echoes that.
Yeah.
But just back to what Joe was saying about the depressing side of music and how you look for the excitement. Do you think there's much space for? Because none of your music is particularly sad.
No.
At all. Like the music you make is fun. That's the common word I'd use to describe it.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something that you actively go for, and do you like try to avoid the sad part of it?
Well, we just want to give people a good time, but that's sort of like that's our whole vibe is just make sure as everyone has as much fun as humanly possible, and you can't really do that with sad songs.
As many people moshing as we possibly can. Like, that's our main job.
Moshing, singing along, doing all that.
If I'm singing like slow chords about a girl who broke up with me in a smoking area, everyone's gonna be like, oh, yeah. But I mean, maybe one day.
Yeah.
There's a few like slow songs I've written.
Yeah.
But I just don't vibe with them as much.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never really have. Yeah.
Do you think there's much of a space for that kind of music?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm massively into like. I mean, I had a massive Radiohead phase when I was younger, and definitely as lots of people probably have, and it's like you have to be. The sad music is more introspective, and it's very like. It's something you put on, like you shove the vinyl on when you're at home in a sad mood, or just wanting to have a little deep moment to yourself. And there's definitely a place for that, but maybe not our gigs.
You can get sucked in very easily. I find like it's great to listen to. There's some amazing kind of like slow, kind of not depressing, but kind of like more mellow music out there. But for me personally, I did find that when I just delved into that too much, it really affected me, and like it stopped being kind of a way to escape and started actually like becoming me almost, and kind of actually directing me rather than me choosing to listen to it.
Yeah, that sounds really cool, guys.
Thank you.
I think we're out of questions now. Nice. But there's a quick fire round here, but
Right.
Favorite food after a night out?
Chicken shish kebab.
A kebab, make a kebab all the way.
Yeah.
Garlic bread.
Garlic bread.
Yeah. I'm too cheap for kebabs.
Foot-long Italian BMT with Chipotle Southwest, light mayonnaise and a bit of sriracha.
I like the specificity.
Oh, always. I mean, I'm a bartender, so I always finish at like 3 in the morning, and
Yeah.
Subway's just the only place that's ever open. So I'm there every day.
Nice. And ooh. I don't know how much this applies to you guys, but you're at the Met Gala.
Always. I saw you there actually, didn't I? Yeah.
Who did you choose to dress you?
I chose my mum.
Your mum.
Because she always knows what to do.
Mm.
Yeah. Stuff she buys me for Christmas is just always my vibe. Yeah.
Sounds great. What about
Louis
the rest of
Vuitton
you
can bugger off.
Met Gala. I have no idea. I'm just gonna go with Elton John because I would look awesome.
guys? Is that a look you'd go for on stage?
Not particularly,
No.
but I just think it'll be really funny to rock up to the Met Gala in like full glam.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like maybe I'll just wear like a random t-shirt and jumper, and then if someone like noticed me and was like, "Oh, who designed your clothes?" I'll just be like, say some random name. I'll be like, "Oh yeah, it's Coco Chanel or something," and just like roll with it. Oh, it's like my mate Steve. Like, so yeah, that's basically a really long-winded way of saying I have no idea.
Yeah. I'll give basically a shorter version of that I have no idea.
That's alright, guys. And finally, if you could tell someone who was visiting Exeter for the first time, where would you go? Where would you recommend?
Cavern.
Cavern.
Oh, I don't want to say Cavern now. Fevered. I mean, it's Cavern, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
for a night out. It's
one of
gotta be
your
done.
gigs. I reckon that'll give them the Exeter experience that they're really looking
Definitely.
for. But yeah, thanks guys for coming on. It's been a good interview experience for everyone, I hope. But
It's been great.
Yeah, expect new music from the Issues soon.
Very soon.
Any idea of a time period?
Let's say January 8th. I don't know.
January 8th.
I've got
January 8th.
no idea.
Yeah.
But sometime
be
in the
announced.
early next year.
Early
I
next
reckon.
year.
Yeah.
Late January, February, maybe.
Sounds
I don't know.
good. Sounds good.
That's not
well,
a promise.
And who knows? There could be a tour with it.
ooh.
Probably not, because can't afford it. But
You never know. One day.
one day,
Maybe vinyl sales will take you there.
maybe.
Any plans for that?
I mean, there's an 8-month wait for vinyl pressing in
Yeah,
the UK
I've heard
at the
about
moment,
this.
which
The
is
vinyl-
Thanks to Adele, isn't that?
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
everyone's blaming Adele, but apparently it's not that.
Oh,
Apparently
it's
it's
everything.
Brexit.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. I mean,
But yeah, I mean, it's a combination of everything, really.
yeah.
But we'd love to get a record pressed. Well,
Mm.
not a single one, but lots. Obviously. Yeah.
Literally, one of my biggest dreams is to. I mean, I have loads of vinyl, so like
Yeah.
it's like massive dream for me is to have a record that is like my band.
Yeah.
That'd be.
That
So
sounds
cool.
great.
Yeah.
But yeah, expect new music from the Issues soon, and when that comes out, we'll definitely that'll definitely get some spins on the expression.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming on, and
Thanks very much for having us.
yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely no problem.
We've had a ball.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And come down to Cavern on the 2nd of December.
2nd of December.
2nd of December.
And the
so
3rd of December. We're putting our mates band on as well. And
any info about them? What are they
Kingfisher,
called?
yeah.
Kingfisher.
They're great. They're kind of
Oh, yeah.
like shoegazy, post-rock,
Yeah.
psychedelic.
Mm,
And yeah, they're just big old wall of sound that you can lose your brain in a little bit.
sounds great.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
check them out.
So yeah, if you're listening, head down to Cavern on the 2nd of December and the 3rd if you can, to see some great local bands.
Oh yeah,
thanks,
Mates and
guys.
Nets are playing with us on the 2nd as well,
Yeah.
who we were mentioning earlier. And yeah, they're definitely ones to check out.
Sounds great. But yeah, I think that we'll leave it there. And thanks for listening, guys. And hope you all have a good day.
Bye.
Thanks.